I don't know. He might be a ringer. We're not suggesting any impropriety on the part of the William Tennant coaches. Just a thought.
Well, I'll tell you, the most popular place to be right now here at Roosevelt Field is the concession stand because the fans are making a beeline right there for the hot chocolate and warm coffee.
The hot chocolate must be going real well tonight.
Yeah, I think soda sales are a little down.
Yeah, they are lagging, I think.
Well, you know, there's still 51 seconds left to go here in this opening half. It's not inconceivable that Norristown could perhaps a couple of long passes get a field goal out of this. They certainly have the quarterback and the arm to do it with Frank Cassano.
Tell you what, Alan, I am really looking forward to Thanksgiving Day. Should be a fantastic ball game. Both Upper Merion and Norristown have had their ups and downs this year, but they're both solid ball clubs, and you know that it doesn't really matter what your town is when the emotion takes place.
Only
on Thanksgiving
one
Day.
Thanksgiving Day game has been decided by more than 7 points in the last 6 years. So you always, and we've had quite a few passes. We had the Hail Mary pass a few years ago in the last 4 seconds to win it for the Eagles. We've had Upper Merion win it a couple times on their own field on last-second field goals. And you know you're always in for a throwing game, and also 10,000 people to pack into the stadium.
That's right. And Forrest Davis takes the ball for Norristown. He's tripped up at about the 28-yard line. And of course, we want to remind you, sorry about that, and we want to remind you that Norristown, the cable channel,
right.
If you have cable television, if you must, if you're watching this ball game.
Go ahead, I'll talk to you about that at halftime.
We remind you, we will be showing the Thanksgiving Day game on tape delay beginning at 2 p.m., I believe it is. So you can watch your Thanksgiving dinner. If you came down to the ball game here at Roosevelt Field at 10 a.m., that's kickoff time. You can watch it on tape delay at 2 in the afternoon. It should be quite a treat.
And I believe the Upper Merion District is also going to be doing the same thing, which is great because the players themselves will actually get to see the game they played just a few hours ago.
That's right.
And I guarantee you, if Norristown wins, that there are going to be a lot of players watching this game.
And it looks like we're going to run out time here in the first half. Coach Roger Grove content to go into the locker room with a 9-7 lead. And one more thing about that Thanksgiving Day contest. We remind you that no one else, no other media is bringing that game to you live. So this will be the first opportunity to actually see the ball game if you weren't there in person.
Okay, and there we go.
That's the end of the half. Eagles ahead 9-7.
And we will be back in for third quarter action in just a couple of moments.
Okay.
Okay, we're just about ready for the third quarter kickoff. Norristown up here 9-7. I'm Alan Raleigh along with Jeff Brandon. This game being brought to you by the Norristown Area School District under the direction of Sam Galbraith and Tony Koya. Tony, of course, taking the night off, and it's a good one to take off and be at home in front of the fireplace. It's a chilly one here at Roosevelt Field, the first real night of football weather we've had all season long. And Jeff, I think the weather might have affected the play in the opening half.
Well, I think that the turnovers that Norristown had were indicative of that, definitely. The two fumbles by Jacques Richette early, and of course the one that was recovered by Norristown. And then we had the two interceptions that really reduced what should have been a really potent Norristown offensive output. They're only ahead in this ball game 9-7, and it should be a whole heck of a lot more.
Recap the scoring for you. Norristown getting on the board late in the first quarter when Brooke Bugg came up with a tackle of the Tennant punter in the end zone, good for a safety. Early in the second frame, Jacques Richette went in off the left side from about 1 yard out. Ron Minchus converting, so it was a quick 9-0 lead for the Eagles. But then Tennant put together their only good drive of the entire evening. Milet going in from about 5 yards out. That's Brian Milet, who had an excellent first half, and I think Norristown's defense must key on him and stop him.
I'm very impressed by Milet. He's got a good acceleration off the ball. As soon as he gets his hands on the ball, he drives towards the line. He's not afraid to take a hit either. He crashes into that line with at full speed ahead.
And the amazing thing is Brian Milet, only 5'6", 165-pound senior, so he definitely is not one of your more physical players.
And Norristown, of course, will be kicking off here in the second half. They received to open the ball game. And we've got 24 minutes of football left, folks. And what it amounts to is, I think, who's going to make the fewest mistakes in the second half. That's right. Thank you for taking that phrase right out of my mouth.
I could see your teeth were clattering there, or chattering. Maybe they were clattering too. You never know.
Perhaps they were. Who knows? Who really knows?
Sam Galbraith, of course, still here, helping us running some camera with heavy insulated gloves.
Heavy gloves on, but we won't say how cold these metal microphones are to the touch of the hand.
Of course, we're getting an increase in salary for this, aren't we?
That's right. Barry Spencer just told us hot dogs are in the offing.
That's right. That's quite a place.
All right, the ball's down at the 30-yard line, so to begin the second half of play, William Tennant will take over 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line.
And Jeff, as we mentioned in the first half, for those that didn't tune in, another good crowd considering the conditions.
I'm very impressed. I think all season long, Norristown has had good attendance here at Roosevelt Field.
And we should mention November 9th, the final conference home game against Abington here at Roosevelt Field, kickoff at 7:30, and then the biggie Thanksgiving morning against Upper Marion.
All right, the first play, the ball is loose on the turnover, the exchange from the center to the quarterback. However, William Tennant retains possession. They'll have 2nd down and 11. Want to remind you that's Kevin Zaper, number 15 at quarterback for the Panthers, along with number 25, Brian Milet in the backfield, number 34, John Grossi. The wingbacks substituting in there, number 10, Eric Montagny, and number 40, Sean Thomas.
And Kevin Zaper in that opening stanza had good success once he started rolling out in the pocket.
Oh, big pressure from Norristown.
When he drops back, as he did right then, the Norristown defense had been getting to him all evening.
That was Theron Ellis who really put the big hit on Kevin Zaper. But give Greg Reinhardt the credit for the initial penetration. He forced Zaper up a little bit into that pocket, and Theron Ellis was there to smash him. Oh, what a shot. Zaper must be feeling that one. I think that's an understatement of the year. He must be feeling that one. Oh, well.
Never mind.
Quick look at the Norristown players. Defensively, number 86, Brian Murphy. Number 50, Joe Glisson. Number 99, Greg Reinhardt. 54, Mike Taylor. 78, Bill Angelucci. 58, and this time they go up the middle. I think that was Milet on the draw. And it's another loss on the play. The Norristown defensive line making a great showing here in the beginning of the 3rd quarter. And it's going to be 4th down and about 18 to go, so the punting unit will come onto the field for the Panthers.
Well, that time they had a 3rd and 18. They decided to go to the draw, hoping to catch the Norristown offense, looking for the pass. You know, that's one of those plays where when it works, it looks like a great play. But otherwise, you sit here and you say, how could they be so foolish?
All right, back deep for Norristown. Number 2, Andy Town. Number 81, Bob Carson. Another low snap. Brooke Bug, almost gets the block, but a nice kick away. And Bob Carson takes the ball at about the 47-yard line, and he's buried immediately. I think I might have opted for a fair catch that time.
That was Steve Timberlake nailing Town the minute he caught that. That was a dangerous one because
Carson.
so many... Oh, excuse me, yes, Carson. I was looking up Timberlake. I forgot the other guy. Yeah, but that time, so many times you'll see the returner get nailed at that same instance, and the ball just pops right out.
All right, we're here in the 3rd quarter. It's 9:40 left to go here. And Norristown with their first possession of the half. Frank Casano, number 5, your quarterback, looks for the quick pass to Town out on the left flank. And he's got it. He's got no blocking, though. That's like, well, Andy, here's the ball. Do with it what you will.
Well, that is only the 4th pass that Frank has completed or attempted tonight. He's completed all 4. Unfortunately, 2 of them for interceptions. But it would have been funnier if I didn't stumble, but that's life. But Frank in the first half seemed to have some problems. He was overthrowing his man, which we haven't seen him do too often this season.
Okay, and there on the offensive line for Norristown, 78, Bill Angelucci, 74, Terry Kennedy, number 50, Joe Glisson, your center, number 60, Mike Palladino, and I believe number 78, Bill Angelucci also in there. In the backfield, looks like Van James and Jacques Richette. He gets the ball. Richette, though, stopped for about no gain. I guess, yeah, that's in on the tackle, number 54, linebacker Brian Carson.
And Carson that time came all the way over from the far side of the field, pursued behind the line of scrimmage, and made that tackle, pulling down Jacques Richette. That shows you what type of speed he has as a linebacker. Okay, 3rd and 6, 8.5 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Casano dropping back, has some time. Pocket forming, now he scrambles out of it, and he is hit. I think Frank might even lose a couple of yards there. Give credit to the tackle that time, Bob Baker, nose tackle, coming through the line, pulling down Frank Casano. Frank only a junior, so he'll be at the helm of the Eagles next season. And Frank also handles the punting chores for Norristown.
Okay.
4th and 9.
4th and 9, and the William Tennant defense comes up big this time. Casano, little pressure, gets off a good boot, though. He drills it. Bill Simons on the reception. He's got a little bit of running room. Raquette misses the tackle. Fumble. Who's got the ball? Brian
Eagles
Murphy
are pointing
signaling.
to themselves.
That's right. Brian Murphy signaling Norristown.
That's it. I think it's going to be, yes,
Wait a minute, I haven't seen an official yet. That's Terry Kennedy saying yes, we've got it. There it is, there's the official call. Norristown recovers the ball at the 18-yard line of William Tennant. Big play, Alan, and that time, I don't know what Bill Simons was thinking of. It almost looked like he tried to pitch the ball to the other Panther on the sideline. That's John Delabuno, number 24. I believe he was the man who recovered the fumble.
John does a fine job, reserve quarterback, also the holder on all the kicks, and of course a special teams player.
That's
and
right.
I think John also fills in occasionally in the defensive backfield.
I'm not certain about that, but he is a multi-purpose player. 7:11 left to go in the third quarter. Norristown with a golden opportunity to add to their lead right here. They're ahead 9-7. Cassano back to pass. He's got time. He's forced up into the pocket, and this time he's brought down by number 84, Joe Nelk. And who was that on the initial penetration? Looks like number 63, Pat Ellis, got in there to force Frank Cassano up into the middle.
Well, Pat Ellis has caused quite a bit of trouble for the Norristown offensive line here this evening. He's been the one guy for the Panthers who's consistently been getting into the Eagles' backfield. And this is unusual because generally we see Norristown, I think, except the loss to Plymouth Whitemarsh early in the season, generally Norristown's line has given Frank plenty of time.
Yeah, Coach Jack Griffiths, whom you spoke with earlier this year, has a good offensive line. This time they go to Van James. He hits the hole initially. There was a big hole open on that left side. I don't know how much of an advantage James got out of it. Looks like we're going to have third down, though, from about the 12-yard line. Let's make it third down and 4. So what do you do here, Alan? Do you keep the ball on the ground, do you give it to Jacques Rochette, or do you try and hit maybe a Brian Murphy across the middle on a slant-in pattern?
I like a little slant in, but if I'm going to run the ball, I'd like to pitch it to Jacques Rochette as they did to get that touchdown back in the second quarter. That way he has a little momentum, and he's certainly a bullish runner. He can carry a few guys for the last few yards.
All right, we'll see what they do with 5:40 left to go in the third quarter. Oh, we've got a penalty, delay of game. Now that changes what you're going to do on this play. You've got a delay of game penalty, moves the ball back 5 yards, so instead of 3rd and 4, you've got 3rd and 9. Now you've got to go to the air, right?
To me, yes. But sometimes you never know. Yeah, I would look for a pass perhaps to Andy Town, maybe Billy Evans if he's in there. I wouldn't necessarily go over the middle, though, for the pass. I'd more lean it toward the sidelines, but you never know. A little safer pass.
Yeah, I might go to the sidelines also. I don't know.
And let the receiver try to break it.
Andy Town wide to the right. Billy Evans was your slot back. Cassano goes deep to Evans. He's in the corner. No! Good defensive coverage by Bill Simons. The negative copy there, number 11 for William Tennant, knocks it away from number 11, Billy Evans.
And Billy getting up limping that time.
And Simons was all over that play. Frank Cassano just tried to drop it into the corner. That was a nicely thrown ball, but the defensive coverage was there. So now it'll be 4th down, and Ronnie Minchus is on the field to attempt a field goal attempt. Now the ball spotted, the ball spotted at the 17. You figure they'll place it down at the 24.
It's going to be a 34-yarder.
34-yard field goal.
Yeah.
35-yarder.
John Delabuno rolls out. He may have enough for the first down. It's getting close.
Close, folks. I think John might have gotten the first down for the Eagles.
You know, I don't really think they ever intended to go for the...
You got it, Alan. First down. John Delabuno off the fake field goal attempt. We just talked about what a versatile player John is. He takes the bootleg off the right side, the field goal fake, runs it for a first down. The Eagles take over now 1st and 7 with goal to go.
Well, what was it? In our very first game, John Delabuno, they faked the field goal. Delabuno hit Billy Evans with the touchdown toss, wasn't it?
No, he hit Brian Murphy.
Brian Murphy. Hey, I was close.
Now, we said Billy Evans on the day of the ball game, and those of you who may have seen that tape, I think it was the Archbishop Carroll game, we apologize to Brian Murphy. He did catch that pass, but it was a nice play. John Delabuno was the key there, scrambling. This time they go off the left side to Jacques Rochette. Rochette piled up after a gain of about 4 on the play. Maybe a gain of 2. We'll make it 2nd down and 4.
And Billy Evans once again limping. And here he's coming off the field now. It looks like he might have I don't know. It looks like he's favoring to the ankle. Favoring his right ankle. But I know he suffered the injury when he went down for that attempted touchdown toss in the end zone.
Okay. All right, folks, we've got 4:50 left to play in the third quarter. Of course, the Eagles still ahead in this ball game, 9-7, 2nd and 4. Cassano, same play. Oh, no, the bootleg. Oh, he's wide open, going to throw it. Oh, no. Oh, no. Frank Cassano was 2 yards away from the end zone, and he threw the ball. I'm sorry, Frank. That doesn't make too much sense, buddy. There was one defensive play there. All he had to do was dodge that, man. He's in the end zone.
Wow.
And poor Bobby Carson falls on the ground trying to reach back for that pass. Cassano drilled it, threw it behind the receiver, and should have just run the ball in.
Well, Bobby Carson was so wide open. No one was even there. He's waving both hands. I think Frank just saw him, and without thinking where he was, he just saw, open man, I'm going to throw the ball. Of course, when he hit the ground and realized he would have been in the end zone, I don't think he quite feels the same way now.
All right, now it's 3rd down and 4. And Cassano is going to go to the air again. This time it's Van James for a touchdown. So give Van James 6 points for the Eagles, and that time Frank Cassano didn't miss his mark. I think that's redeeming yourself there, definitely. Nice play by Frank Cassano. Good touch, and Van James out of the backfield with a fine reception.
Well, he certainly atoned for his mistake on that prior play.
You know, one thing that I thought about when Cassano threw that ball, a couple times this year, we've seen Frank cross the line of scrimmage and then throw a pass. I think maybe presence on the field might be something to
It comes with maturity.
All right, Ronnie Minges for the extra point. This time they'll probably put it down and kick it. And they do. And Minges makes another one. I'll tell you, Ronnie Minges is deadly accurate. Make it 16-7 Norristown now as they widen their lead. And we'll see what William Tennant can do once they get the ball back here.
I think it's important they get a good long drive going here.
Big show, there might be an 8th grader and then going to 9th grade with the low man, I tell you. Pull an Uncle Whip, right? Maybe an Uncle Whip. 33. All right, Andy Town to kick off for Norristown. Oh, nice boot by Andy. Line drive, though, and we have some time to set up the blocking attack. That's a nice run that time by number 33, Tim Tolan. Tolan, though, had his blocking wedge set up, but the Norristown defensive coverage did a good job that time, considering how low that kick was.
18-yard return, too.
Boy, you are just a master of the statistics, aren't you? Just whizzing those facts out at me.
Well, you know, Texas Instruments and myself, we do a good job. First and 10, ball to 28 for Tennant. Yeah, they've dropped 3 straight games, all league battles. Zaper rolling out this time. He has no running room. Fisher in there on the tackle, along with Luther Harling. Brooke Bugg, I think, in there also. We're going to have a flag now, and I believe it's going to be a personal foul due to a late hit. One of the Norristown players. Little skirmish down there. That's it. It's going to be against Norristown, and this could be a costly one.
We don't know their names. We could just glance down and don't have to worry about searching for
It may have been either on Luther Harling or Brooke Bugg, but it's so tough to tell. But it was definitely one of the Norristown defenders. They walked the ball off 15 yards. So Norristown, due to their carelessness and a foolish penalty they are hit with, give Tennant pretty good field position here. Ball now on the 45-yard line. First down and 10 for Tennant. They give the ball at the middle of the mile. This time he has no running room. He is stacked up immediately. In there on the tackle, Greg Reinhardt, also giving assist to number 50.
Joe Glisson.
Joe Glisson.
And of course you had that on the tip of your tongue, Alan. I'm sorry I stole that away from you.
Well, actually, you know, not doing a game in a month and a half, I forgot.
And an honest man you are to admit that. I'm proud of you.
Well, I figure this will be my last game since Tony Coyle will be back here probably next week.
Tony.
The fans, it was incredible. The halftime, the fans were cheering his name.
They were storming the press box. They wanted to know where Tony was.
Well, no, they wanted my autograph, but they were still wanting to know where Tony was.
This time,
Zaper rolling out, has lots of room too.
Keeps the ball that time. And he makes a nice play off the right side. Had some good blocking off the offensive line, but it's still going to be 3rd down and, a long 5 to go.
As compared to a short 5.
Well, it's about 5 yards and 1 foot, so you call that a long 5, right?
Okay, but it could have been a short 6.
Now, look at this. We just had queries from all over. Is Tony Coyle here tonight? People want to know.
It's amazing.
Oh, this time,
Milet. No way.
Milet gets buried, and it'll be 4th down once again for the Panthers. Tell you what, Al, with 2:15 remaining here in the 3rd quarter.
I say go for it.
No, and I wouldn't go for it. What are they down by 9 though? They've got to get 2 scores.
Well, they're going to punt, but I still say go for it.
No, I wouldn't go for it at midfield. They're right on the 50-yard line.
I look at it this way: if Norristown gets good field position, they go down, they bring it into the end zone. If your defense can't stop them, which says you don't have faith in your defense, then you're pretty much out of the ball game. But they're putting their...
Well, see, I'd have to give faith in my defense to stop them 1, 2, 3, and then get good field position back.
Oh, what a beauty punt, though.
Bobby Carson takes it this time. He's got Brooke Bugg out in front, but that doesn't make any difference as number 64, Bob Baker, comes storming downfield to make the tackle.
That was excellent coverage that time, too, because it was a good long punt, but no hang time whatsoever. And it went right in there, but... maybe a pickup about 1 yard at the most on the return, thanks to the good hit by Baker.
So Norristown will take over at their own 27-yard line, 1st and 10. As Jim Giovinco confirms that for me in the background on the public address system. Mr. Giovinco, of course, a longtime gym teacher at Norristown, football coach until just this year, helping out up here in the press box. Handoff goes to Van James on the right side. He's got all the way, folks. There's only one man who can stop him, Tim Tolan. And Tim Tolan gets back and out of bounds at the 32-yard line of William Tennant. Van James, I can't believe how big that hole was, Al. There was nobody there. It was Tim Tolan or a touchdown, and Tolan had the angle to cut Van James off at the sideline, saves the score.
Well, that is a play that has always worked great for Norristown in prior years. The quick little pitch, the guy goes around the right end. I don't know. Tennant's defense must have just been caught napping that time.
I'll tell you, Van James, give that fellow a lot of credit. We talked earlier in this ball game that he had been ineffective at times this year. Not necessarily ineffective, but not stellar, which you'd say where Wayne Denson was the last 3 years. And I think people look on that as not performing, even though it's not really true.
Well, I think we hit it is that he stepped into pretty large shoes, and I think a lot of people just expect you're going to be fantastic.
This time they go to the first back through. That's Jacques Rochette. Nothing there for Jacques, gain of perhaps 1 yard on the play.
Jacques has had a very, very good year. When you look at the statistics for the area rushers, and you think Jacques, he has a couple 100-yard games under his belt, and then you see he has over 600 yards, and he's like number 2 or 3 in the area. You have to wonder, especially he's a two-way performer. He's out there about 85% of the game time also.
That's right. And Jacques very quietly does a good job. He has those 150-yard games, and you don't even notice it because he grinds it out. This time they go to Forrest Davis, number 44. And Davis is stopped for about a 1 yard loss on the play. So we'll make it 3rd and, about 11 yards to go. And I think Frank Casano's going to have to go to the air again.
I agree. Davis comes limping out too. Billy Evans coming in. Bobby Carson coming in. Andy Town coming to the sidelines. Well, let's see. 3rd and 10. It's going to be the end of the third quarter here in just a couple of seconds. They're not going to get this play off. So we're going to enter the final quarter, 16-7 Norristown lead. What do you say? Go deep, go for it all?
I don't know. It's been effective. I might go to Andy Town on a post pattern. Let Andy split the seam down the middle, throw it to him. Although, I'd hesitate to say that, though, because the secondary is excellent for William Tennant.
Oh, they've done a fantastic job
Excellent
tonight.
Secondary.
I mean, we even saw in the past that who did Casano hit early in the first half with that nice long sideline toss? Was it, Andy Town. And we saw the defense for William Tennant step for step with Andy Town. So that shows you they have speed and they have good coverage sense out there.
Rob Alford is a quick player back there. Also Bob Young. And we also saw Bill Simons in there occasionally.
Yeah.
The wide receiver for William Couple two-way players for William Tennant.
And let's also remember that Tennant has been getting a good rush on Frank this evening.
That's true. All right, going back the other way, Norristown moving from right to left on your screen. Oh, Frank slips down. Well, that certainly negates any play that Roger Grove may have had in mind, and big break for William Tennant. Now they get the ball back with all the fourth quarter remaining. It's going to be 4th down, and Frank Cassano will do the punting chores for Norristown. The ball spotted about the 39-yard line. Frank Cassano with a good corner kick could put Tennant in awful field position.
By the way, Billy Evans and Bobby Carson were both running just straight fly patterns down the left sideline. Who knows if they would have cut in or what, but that's apparently the direction Cassano was going to go. Unfortunately, he slipped.
All right, the boot's up there. Simons lets it roll, and it goes into the end zone. Yes. Oh, by just about a yard. I'll tell you, that's a break for Bill Simons and William Tennant. He could have been in big trouble letting that ball bounce.
He would have been a goat.
He really should have fielded that ball in the air. There's no reason you shouldn't catch that ball.
Because you're almost inviting the punter to go for the golfing corner, which Frank tried to do.
Well, you shouldn't field the ball inside the 10. If the ball's going to land within inside the 10, you let it bounce. Probably it's going to go into the end zone. You get the ball at the 20. But that time it hit about the 15, and they were lucky that it made it all the way to the end zone.
Well, Simons was in that in-between state where, do I pick up the ball even though it bounced a few times and risk maybe it getting away from me, or do I let it roll and take my chances? And he lucked out by a yard.